Right, today's little project is to shorten the seat subframe for the GSXR project bike, which will take this whole top section here away, and the idea is to cut this arm off, heat this and bend it in earlier, and then rejoin it to this arm, and as I say, that will lose this whole back section, making the bike about 2 inches stubbier, but will neaten up the back end where the seat sits. At the moment there's a big gap between where the seat finishes about here and obviously the back of the framework here, which I want to do away with, and I definitely don't want this sticking up in the air, so that's all got to go. So that's today's project. So first time doing anything like this, so let's give it a go. Chop it off, and then some cold, low temperature alley welding, or well, it's soldering really, to rejoin it all. First time trying all this. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. Right, so 2.5 hours in. Just about going to have some lunch, take a break for a minute. Taking off the brackets off the bottom edge there, cut all them off. Obviously cut the top section off, cut it back by about 1 inch or so. Rejoined it. As I say, heated this up, bent it up, so I've still got a nice curve. Yeah, so the next step would be the alley welding, and if that all goes smoothly, then I'll start the other side. But as I say, first of all, it's time for a bit of lunch. So after about 4.5 hours work, all the cutting and soldering that I'm going to do with the little arms to decrease it is done. I don't know whether you can see that. It hasn't come out too bad, but I don't know whether I trust it or not. It is just soldering really, rather than welding, because obviously you don't melt the two materials together. You get this hot, and then you just feed the solder onto it, and when it's hot enough, the rod melts onto it. So yeah, really it's soldering, so I don't know whether I trust it to be strong enough to support my arse. So what I'm going to do is, I've got some what's that, 2-3 mil steel. I'm going to put a plate across the back there, because it needs something across the back anyway, for support, and to obviously bolt my number plate and everything too. So I'm going to put a piece across the back there, and then 2 bits bolted to the sides there, to give it support in the middle. Just I really don't feel confident about the soldering, to be fair. So but yeah, overall I think it's gone well. First attempt and all that. Obviously it wants a good clean up. So end product, as I said, I'm not overly sure whether the solder, well, the alley weld is going to be strong enough. I have tried pulling them apart, and it does seem pretty strong, but being it's my seat and it's me disappearing into the back wheel if it does fail, I've strengthened it with steel on the sides. I needed a support on the back anyway to put my number plate on that, so I'll put a bar across the back. But yeah, strengthening on the side, both sides, just to give me that confidence I'm not going to collapse as I go along. Right, quick update. not really finding the time to get on and do this, but this is it so far. Hope that's right. So that's the new framework with the alley welding, bar across the back for stability, and obviously that would be the mounting plate for the mounting bar for the number plate. Trimmed the mudguard right the way down and mounted the ECU further back. It's really tight with the battery and the wires. Still got to configure where the wires are going to run to, but I think it'll all fit in there. And just to give you a comparison, so that's the new one. So the old one came, I hope you can see that, came right out there. So lost well, overall probably 2.5–3 inches from sort of the edge of the indicator to where the new number plate will finish, and it's just a whole neater back end, or will be, instead of having all the indicators and that sticking out the sides. It'll all be integrated, so that'll be the finish. Quick update, as you can see the framework's on, one of the bags is in place. I'm waiting for button head bolts to come from eBay to tidy all this up, all these bolts along here. The ECU had to be moved back to accommodate the panel, which is midway through being painted, which will house the number plate, obviously the light at the top and the strip light along the bottom. That'll go on the back end here. So yeah, the mudguard's been trimmed down, the ECU's had to be moved forward. You can just about get the battery in there now. So it is tight, but yeah, it all fits together. Obviously the electrics want soldering and sorting with the new light going on. The alley welding broke on this side, so I haven't trusted it, so I put a little L bracket in at the back here. Looks a bit of a pigsty at the moment. Again, waiting for the button head black bolts to go in to tidy all this look up. But yeah, there's been a bracket gone in to hold these two sections together. I mean, obviously the weight bearing is here, and the alley weld snapped, which was lucky, because I was giving it some right grief, and if that had happened going down the road, that might have been my testicles heading down in there with the wheel filing them down. So I'm glad that happened here. I wanted to give alley welding a try. I did give it a try. This side's held perfectly. Obviously I've done something different here, but it's too late in the game for me to want to strip it all down again. Perhaps later on, I don't know, a year or so's time or whatever, I'll strip this all down and tidy the whole thing up. But at the moment it's just a plaything really. So I'm not overly concerned with the look. You know, it's never going to be the shiny chrome Street Fighter that others have, but I think it'll have a unique look. Well, it'll definitely have a unique look, and it'll definitely be fun to drive. So, but now the seat finishes at the back of the frame, and I might not have left myself enough room, because with my fat arse I might need a bit of overhang, so time will tell. Right, getting towards the end of the fitting. Obviously everything's in place now, number plate and the lights, but the electrics are what I'm doing now. These all need soldering. And I'll put the covers on, new connections on there. But yeah, there you go. Waiting for some longer black button head bolts to go through here. Should be here early next week. And that's that. The alley welding didn't work, so I've put brackets in. I think I told you earlier. Right, moment of truth with the lights. There's the wiring. Right, on the number plate with the name on it. Quite neat, as I say. It was it's very tight with the battery. So ignition on, no sparks, no explosion. Indicator. Oh, it's a bit quick. That'd be the LEDs. That looks alright. That's alright. And it's the right way. Oh yes, and that's the right way. We'll have some of that. And side lights. Yup. And the brakes. That's the back brake, front brake. That bottom one's decidedly brighter. There you go. Sorted. Electric's done. Just need my bolts now. Yeah, quick update. The alley welding this side has broken free. I did put a bracket in to hold it together. Went out on the bike like that, and a gap appeared here, so it was obviously giving way. So now the plan is to put a bracket over the top to go onto this bolt and the seat bolt to clamp that, to stop that pulling away, one either side. So alley welding fail. That's probably more down to me and the way I did it. So we've got two brackets, just getting a bit of paint on, give them a bit of protection. And I thought while I was at it, it says on the can that it's good for, there you go, etch primer spray paint. It's good for all types of plastics. So I thought I'd prime that up and paint that up, because the sides still show, and obviously where the seat bolt goes through, this all shows. So I thought I'd give it a go at spray painting that, see what that comes out like. I'll obviously update you as and when. But there you go, that's the latest. I sort of stopped working on it last weekend because the shed got extended. You can see from here, as much as I could extend it, because there's a tree there and I didn't want to move that, so I've extended it as far out as I could, which is about 3 foot. But yeah, plenty more room, bigger bench to play with, so more fun. Anyway, project bike, that's the update. Further updates as and when. Right, so final update on the tail. All the lights are working, indicators are a little bit fast, so might need whatever it is, a relay or whatever goes in to slow the LEDs down. But I've been out on it quite a few times now, and it's cool. It is short, that's for sure. So that's sort of the finished product with the bags on the side. Yeah, reached my grand old age of 50 the other week, so got a badge to prove it. But yeah, these are the new brackets that went in, up and over the top, and obviously the one's still on the inside, so that's not going anywhere. Been out several times now and it's not going anywhere. It chewed up the bottom of the light again, so I've actually fitted a jack up kit which has taken up another inch. Gonna see how that goes, but ultimately I'm not overly happy with all of it. I can't weld, or I definitely can't alley weld. So what I've done is invested in a MIG welder. I'm going to teach myself welding and redesign that whole thing, get rid of that whole alley frame and redesign one out of steel, and see how that comes out. Whether that's next year that'll get done, or even this year, I don't know yet. But yeah, that's the way it's going. So I've got a new MIG coming, and train yourself really. But overall, the look at the back, let's straighten it up. It's on its side stand, obviously. The look at the back is what I was trying to achieve. I'm not sure I like these bags, so I'll have to have a think about that for the new one. But yeah, overall, stubby and really tidy on the back. Black light looks better than the old white light. Bright as anything with the LEDs. I've brought another strip. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't losing any more. It might be, so that again the new frame will possibly have to be higher, whether I jack up the whole bike or whether I just build the frame so it's higher. I've got a bit of room there. Time will tell. But that is the final update. That's how I'll be riding it for a while now. And yeah, stay tuned. MIG welder on the way. Should be some exciting videos to come, or just one big fire. Yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe. It's a fucking journey.